Every night I was on my sofa in front of the TV, waiting to hit play, and then my brain would say, hey, you missed something, you need some chocolate. So I would go take my chocolate, eat it, be like, this tastes so good. And I would say to myself, hey, tomorrow, no more. Day after, I'm eating these salted caramel popcorns. Yeah, binging right now. Yeah. Why? Because I'm watching Netflix. So that makes me want to binge it more, I guess. So I thought I really need to stop this. How I've managed to retrain my palate to not want that much sugar can be summarized in 5 steps. What I've experienced throughout this journey to be healthier is actually that it's easier to implement small changes into the day-to-day life rather than drastic measures to try and get healthier, because in the long term they are not gonna be sustainable. So that's what you will find in this channel. Devo dire, sta vita non è vita senza te e chissà perché. Every night I was on my sofa in front of the TV, waiting to hit play, and then my brain would say, hey, you missed something, you need some chocolate. So I would go take my chocolate, eat it, be like, this tastes so good. And then the chocolate bar was gone, and I would say to myself, hey, tomorrow, no more. Tomorrow, no chocolate. I'll detox for a few days, and so that I don't get addicted. Day after, same thing, sofa, me, TV show. I will take my chocolate bar, finish it all, and every day it will be the same. The other day, it culminated. I bought a panettone with chocolate, and I ate half of a panettone of 1 kilo in literally 2 days. I feel super bad now. Sometimes it feels like a drug that I cannot stop. So I'm trying to do this video now to take care of this situation. I feel really guilty. I feel so bad about myself. The fact that I cannot control myself, it's really annoying, and it makes you feel like you are not treating yourself right, and I want to respect myself enough to treat myself well. So this is what I actually did not realize. I wasn't craving sugars per se. My palate had been trained to want it. So I thought I really need to change this, and I need to retrain my palate to stop wanting sugar without massive sacrifices, without quitting chocolate forever. And today I'm gonna show you exactly how I've done that. Come with me. The very first thing for me was to understand that every single food choice I made during the day was impacting how much sugar I wanted. So if I will make the right choices in the morning, afternoon, and then evening, then I will crave less sugar. There is a quote, I think, saying that every meal you eat is a short-term investment in how you feel, a mid-term investment in how you look, and then a long-term investment in your freedom from diseases. So I decided to look into every single meal I was having and try to change it so that I would retrain my palate to want other food rather than sugar. So that brought me to think I need to change my diet and diversifying it. Meaning I have to eat other ingredients and start being passionate about those that are natural and healthy for me. I put that fun and curiosity associated in my brain with sugar with natural foods. So the following times I was entering the supermarket, I was literally trying to be curious about new ingredients that I never tried before. It will sound very weird to you, but for example, I almost never ate broccolini in my life. So I was like, let me try to do a recipe maybe with those broccolinis and see if I like it. So slowly I started to retrain my palate to want less sugary food because I was eating and getting excited about other type of food, and so my palate was getting used to tasting different tastes, and naturally I was eating less sugar. Taking a step back, I'm not surprised that I was so addicted to sugar because the food industry changed so much over the years. When my grandma was young, there were not so many chocolate bars, Toblerones, Kit Kats. For her, it was much easier to not get addicted to this type of food. But on the opposite side, I am. And it's just because I grew up with this type of foods. I remember my mom was always buying me Kit Kats, and I had to actually rush to eat it before my brothers because they will eat all the pack otherwise. The food industry really changed and made us all addicted to sugar, or most of us. And so it's really important to try and retrain the palate, because if you don't retrain the palate, then you can try all the diet, you can try to quit sugar for a few days, but it will not work. You really have to be intentional about it, and that's what worked for me. In the past, I wanted to quit sugar, I would say for at least 5 years, if not more, and I've never been able to before discovering this. A long run to say it's really important to retrain your palate, and I would say if you are in a similar situation, what worked for me is try to enter the supermarket with a curiosity mindset. Be like, okay, what can I take that is healthy? What can I try? Experiment with. Maybe have some look at healthy recipes on Instagram. I'm gonna link some down below. One thing that I didn't know before, whenever you enter a supermarket, at least in the UK, you will find first fruit and veg. The unhealthy stuff will be at the end of the supermarket. So if you enter a supermarket, know that the very first part of the grocery store is where you really need to focus and try to experiment with different ingredients if you want to retrain your palate and try to enjoy more healthy foods. The second thing is, when you start to do that, at least for me, I stopped eating so many sugary foods because first of all, I was full. So I couldn't really eat as much. After a massive meal, sometimes you really cannot eat another Kit Kat bar. Slowly, I was getting less anesthetized by the sugary foods that I was eating before. Because what I realized is that when you eat a lot of sugary foods, your palate is anesthetized similarly to when you eat spicy food. You know, you eat a very spicy curry, and then whatever else you eat, you can eat an apple, whatever that is, you don't really taste it as much. So that was the same for sugar for me. And I've talked to some of my friends and they said the same thing. When they are in a sugar high, nothing else tastes as good as sugar. So I think it's really important to slowly reduce your sugar intake so that you start to really appreciate those natural flavors. Sometimes I was still in situations where I couldn't really say no to sugar. For example, a few months ago was my 30th birthday. Yes, I know. I entered the third floor and I couldn't say no to my own cake, of course. First of all, I don't want to. I love cakes. And second of all, it's my freaking 30th birthday, so I'm gonna have that cake, right? So what I realized is that a balance. You cannot be always eating perfectly healthy and never say no to what you really crave. I also think I'm Italian. For me, it's super important to enjoy my life. I wanna be healthy, but healthy not only physically, but also mentally. And so sometimes I was still allowing myself to have that cake or that chocolate bar. And so I'm trying to show. As usual, he's interrupting my shootings. No, I'm joking. Sometimes I was still allowing myself to have that cake. I found, and I found on Instagram somewhere, some people that were saying there is this 80-20 rule where most of the time in your day-to-day you try to eat healthy, and then, you know, in special occasions when you're out with your friends and you want to have a glass of wine, that's my case yesterday for example, you just go for it. You know, it's in the long term, 80% of the time you will have eaten super healthy and that's most of your diet, but there will be that 20% that you just enjoy your life. And all of the previous steps I said really helped me to not exaggerate and to really take food as food and not something that will help me to enjoy a TV show more. Like, why? It's just food. I'm just nourishing my body, right? There shouldn't be anything related to how I feel about the TV show. And I had one more reflection on this. Why did this work versus what I used to do in the past with strict diets and saying from tomorrow, no sugar ever again? I think it was, sorry, I'm just gonna move my camera because I saw that you can see a loose bath towel. And the reason why I think this time it worked for me is because I found a system that was fitting into my life, first of all. And that was a very strong system for me to be consistent. It was allowing me to enjoy my life sometimes. It was allowing me to have fun with food and really explore it in a positive way, not in a restrictive, negative lens. And it was very easy to implement into my day-to-day life. I didn't start experimenting with 30 ingredients at once. I started with 1, then 2. I then reduced sugar bit by bit, and it felt very natural to me. And I think that's something that maybe makes you understand this in a better way than I'm explaining. Is the quote that says, "You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems." Meaning, you can have the most ambitious goal ever and never achieve it just because your system is not efficient enough. It doesn't work for you. For example, before a professional 100 meters race, everyone's goal is to win, right? However, only the people that have a good system in place to train for it will actually win. So you can have the best goal, but it's the system that really matters. And for me, this system really worked. I thought, you know what, I'm just gonna share it here on this channel. What I usually do is just document my health journey, hoping that maybe it can help any other of you. I'm not a fan of drastic diets. I'm not a fan of all these health experts out there. I think it's not very realistic. Of course, if you're a nutritionist, you're gonna try to eat healthy all the time. I get it, it's your job. But for me, I'm just a normal person with a regular job that want to eat healthy but at the same time enjoy my life. This is what you will find here, a perspective from a normal person like me, Italian, so maybe sometimes I'll add some Italian flair to it. If this was useful, maybe you will find useful as well this video right here that I've done with some practical tips, again, from a normal person on how you can eat healthier snacks instead of maybe having that chocolate bar. I will also leave you in the description this template to use my system. It will show you how to start to introduce new ingredients every week. It will also give you a list of ingredients that you can try. It will also highlight which one are superfoods, so you can know if you're doing a super healthy choice or just a healthy choice. And also it will be divided by month so that you know what's in season. Usually it's better to eat seasonal fruits and veg. So let me know if you have any questions on my healthy eating journey. By the way, while I was talking, I was making a very healthy banana and eggs pancake. So I will add the recipe in the description down below. You've seen a bit how I was making it, maybe. But yeah, it's super yummy, very healthy. 2 eggs, 1 banana. You mix everything in the blender, and then this is the mix for your healthy pancakes. And then I usually put on top bananas, some melted dark chocolate, or even just peanut butter. And it's so freaking good. That is a nice healthy recipe that you can have for breakfast when you're craving something sweet. Hopefully you will enjoy it. And I've spoken enough now, so bye bye.